Hello everyone and welcome to a newly designed and handsome looking 5th generation of the new Lexus RX500h F Sport performance. And this RX500h promises to give you a deluxe interior accommodation and also a sporty performance from this package. So in today's video we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this RX500h F Sport performance. Now I mentioned that it's newly designed, so it's not just the exterior but also the interior. It's an overhaul that has been done on this car and it absolutely looks fantastic. So let me start from the front. So you get this new spindle grille design out here instead of continuing on the sides. This is a new sort of thing. There's this half body colored one, and out here there's black color glossy one. Really like now this design of this thing. There's a Lexus badging in here. Out here there are more glossy black plastic trims that are given, a big huge curving bumper, silver one. There is out here another slot that opens up. It's a small sort of grill given in normal plastic, and out here you would find more plastic grills in here. And then there is this vent, but it's not the real vent, it's just fake vent to make it look more sporty. And then you have these LED fog lights underneath that, again housed around these black plastics. And on top you can see this nose sort of having this bulge in here and also extending. In fact, the car actually extends quite a bit out here to make that that longer nose, but it absolutely looks pretty sporty in that sense. And the headlight cluster is a completely LED headlight cluster. There are 3 LED headlights that you get on this one, and there is also an L-shaped DRL that has been given, and also a turn signal that has been given. This headlight is also the dynamic headlight cluster, and underneath the bonnet you get a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine along with 2 electric motors, one in the front and one in the back. So this is essentially a hybrid electric vehicle. So this RX generation is offered in 2 different variants actually, which is the RX350 and the RX500. So whereas the RX500 is just offered in one model, that is the RX500h all-wheel drive. So the other ones are available in the 2-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and different performance packs that you get. So on this one you get the F Sport performance, which is what you get on this one. So you get 21-inch matte black alloy rims out here, and then there is also this Lexus caliper inside. There's also this F Sport badging to remind you this one is an F Sport. And the previous generation of the RX was offered in a 7-seater, but this one is just offered in 5 seats. But there is also a lot of storage, because the thing is this is slightly longer, I think about 65 millimeters longer than the previous generation. So that gives you lots of interior space. When we jump inside, I'm going to show you that. And when you come to these side mirrors, these are black color side mirrors which are power foldable. They are also power adjustable. They have blind spot warning inside them. There's also one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. There's also an LED turn signals that has been mounted, and there's also a dark color chrome strip that surrounds around these windows and ends sort of in the back. There are also these arches that you get out here. There are also plastic claddings on these arches, so that protects your fender, but again they are body colored and not like normal plastic, because it's too cheap. This is a luxury car. Everything has to look perfect. And I like how the wheels and the arches perfectly are in like symmetry. Like it just fills in so nicely that way. Let me know in the comment section below. I actually really like the side profile of this car, because it's like swooping, and then smooth curves and sharp curves. So it's very well balanced that way. Even in the back the same thing, you get these plastic arches and in the body colored. And when you come to these door handles, these are not your regular mechanical door handles, but these are the electronic ones. So when you put your hand inside, there's a button, you press that and you open the door. There's also an F Sport badging on the door sills, and also there is one more cutout that has been given out here in the front bumper, but that's again just there for aesthetic purposes, not actually a vent that's actually channeling air or anything. It's just to make the whole car look more sportier. And on top you get the black color roof rails along with the panoramic sunroof that has been given on this RX500h. Now out here in the back it's all smooth and there are no sharper edges or anything, and it actually just shows that it's actually a luxury car when you look at it. So in the back you get these LED tail light cluster, and there is also this light bar which is again an LED, and there is also this Lexus badging on top of that, the whole thing looks absolutely amazing at night. And even these tail lights, they extend onto the side profile, and then they have this sort of design which is protruded on the side. And the tail light cluster, as I said, is completely LED. The turn signals and everything is LED. And in terms of the visibility, it's actually quite narrow. There are thick pillars, but there is no issue with that because there is a camera that has been mounted. So you get a smart rear view monitor. So when you switch on that, you can get the rear view, and then you can adjust everything from that monitor. So angle, the tilt, the zooming, and everything from there. So yeah, if the passengers are in the rear seats, the visibility is not going to be an issue that way. There's also a small spoiler that has been given in dual color. So the top bit is your body color and the bottom bit is the glossy black plastic. There are also these vents again in here, which are the fake ones, like this is for the sportiness to add on to that bumper, and then they are just in normal plastic. Out here you would find this grille design, which is again a glossy grille design, and then it extends onto the side and even on the other side, and the exhaust tips are mounted underneath, so they are like cleverly hidden. There is no fakery that has been going on out here. Now when it comes to the boot space, in order to open this boot door, there is a button that has been given, but I don't want to do that. This is a luxury car and I have a lot of maybe bags in my hand, and I can just swipe my legs and then open the boot door, which leads me onto this humongous boot space that has been given on this one. So when the rear seats are folded up, you can put 612 liters of luggage in the back, and it's actually quite even. It's just big with this really nice carpet lining. Looks like a proper luxury, and it's actually way bigger than the previous generation of the RX, and that's essentially because there are no seats also which are given on this one. So you get just the boot space, and it's even, and there are time points at the bottom. There's also a boot light that has been given. There is also this boot separator which is attached normally, but I've removed it, and it actually sits down and it fits here, but it just consumes a little bit of space. That's the only thing. And there are scuff plates which are given out here so that you don't damage your bumper. And at the bottom of this boot floor, you will find a temporary spare wheel that has been given and a battery that has been mounted on the right side. Whereas there is no boot lip as such, but the whole boot space is actually quite raised up that way. So yeah, putting a luggage in and out is going to be a bit of a struggle. That's the only thing. But yeah, there's a huge boot space that compensates for that. Now, the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40. And again, I don't want to work hard on this car. So there are buttons which are given out here. So these rear seats are electronically foldable. So I press these buttons and let the car do its magic and fold these seats down. Takes a little while. Now when the rear seats are folded down, you can put 1678 liters of luggage, and that's actually quite a big space that you get, especially on a luxury car like this, because it's all about having passengers in comfort, but even your luggage is also going to be in comfort when it is traveling with you. And the boot space, that way the boot floor has a bit of a slope when the seats are folded down, but it's still not that abrupt, so you can easily slide your luggages in and out. And when you're done using the boot space and you want the seats up, you can again press that button and the seats come up. Takes a little while again, but yeah, they do come up. And then once you're done finally arranging all this, you can just swipe your leg and let the car close the boot door for you. So it's all about convenience out here on this Lexus RX500h. Now on the inside of this Lexus RX500h F Sport performance, you get the same level of luxury and the deluxe materials that has been given on the previous generation. In fact, it's much better on this generation because everything here has been just about luxury and comfort in here. So let me start with the material quality. You get soft touch out here on the dashboard. Even out here there's also a red color stitching along with this suede kind of material that has been curving around. Even out here on top, soft touch. The door cards are soft touch. There's also this speaker grill, and also around that there is this suede kind of material with the red stitching. When I'm going to be resting hands, there is dark red color leather that has been given, soft ones. And even out here on the sides there is this same leather that is continued, and on the sides black color leather. only and only at the bottom you would just find normal plastic, but even that plastic feels rather softer to touch, and on the door cards it's completely soft touch even till the bottom. So everything, as I said, is about luxury and premium feel that has been given on this one. Even the steering wheel is leather covered with this red color stitching. The seats are red color, the wine red color, and the sides are with this suede kind of material. And the newest thing that you see out here is this big huge screen that has been given and a driver's display. There are more plastic materials which are given out here, like this door to cover your phone, wireless charger and USB ports, and then there is this around this gear lever, this gear shifter also, that's a new addition. Gonna come to that, and then we're going to be resting hand in the center armrest, again that is also soft touch. So even the roof, that's also lined with this really smooth fabric, and the sun visors, they are also extendable and they have this same sort of quality, very soft. So there is never a dull moment inside this car because everything is just lined with the premium materials in here. Now let me come to the driver's display. So you get a digital driver's display, which is 7-inch screen that has been given, and that screen itself is just the center screen that shows you everything, and on both the sides there is a fuel gauge and also your temperature gauge on either side, and the center one shows you like a counter, and you can even change the look of this dial that you get on the driver's display when you go into the settings, and then you can customize, and then you go to the meter, then the type of meter, which is type 1, type 2, where you have the the digital speed counter also, and the ones where you have like the RPM meter on top, and then your information, so you can switch to whatever you like and you want to drive into. And in the center you get a lot of information, and the thing is that this screen is a little dull that way, which is what I find sometimes. That's the only thing that I tried making it a little bright, like to the maximum brightness, but it's slightly dull that way, which is what I find. And not just that, there are lots of options that you can customize on this screen, but the buttons are given on your steering wheel on either side. There are more buttons given at the bottom on the steering wheel. Those buttons actually relay all the information on the heads-up display that has been given on this RX500, and that heads-up display actually shows you what options you are going to be changing on your driver's display. So let's start. So when it's like the touch button, so when you touch that, it shows you a menu on your screen, and you can change to different modes by pressing that button at the bottom on the right side. So that will show you, like you can adjust your heads up display, and then the display information where you can see your EV driving ratio, then your media settings, then your turbo boost, whatever you're getting, then the G meter, then your gear position, and then if you want to leave it into blank, also it shows you on your heads up display, and the fuel consumption, your total, your average speed, and then we are back to the EV ratio. And then you press the bottom button again, and then that leads you into the adaptive cruise control or the normal cruise control that you want to switch to. Yes, it takes a little while to figure all this out. So I did a good amount of study before getting you all this. And then on the left side, the buttons which are given, those are for your media controls that you can see on your heads up display. Again, you press that, and then you can change those media controls into another set of deeper media controls that you get. But that's not it. The button on the left side can be customized from this heads up display in the settings when you go inside. So when you go into your settings, then you go vehicle customize, and you press the steering switch, which is your left side switch, what you want to see on that, your audio or the climate controls. You can see both of them or just audio, so you can change the climate controls also from this steering wheel, and the right side control where you can see your display and everything. So you can change a lot more things in here. You really have to decide what you want before driving. So it's still a bit complicated. So without that heads up display, I don't really understand how you can see all that information on your screen, because all it shows that it's just this, like the changing information. But what all these buttons can do, that can be seen from the heads up display. And when you come to that heads up display also, there are various options to see that heads up display. So if you want to have like a minimum heads-up display, you can have that, which is like a minimal option, or you have the standard option where you have some information, and then the full option which shows you everything while you're driving. So even the heads-up display, sometimes I find on a bright daylight it's a little dull that way. So that's the only thing, and you can adjust the heads-up display also from this settings option inside that has been given. So that's your driver's display. When you come to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel with the red stitching, and it's got the F Sport badging at the bottom and the Lexus badging in the center, and there are also paddle shifters which are given. Feel really good to use them, even though they are plastic, but not too bad. And this steering wheel is electronically adjustable, which is both your tilt and telescopic. Again, all luxurious. And as I said, there are buttons on the right side given for your adaptive cruise control, your driver's display that you can change, and everything from here. And on the left side you have the media control buttons, and also the buttons for your climate control that you can customize to use when you're driving this RX500. So that's your steering wheel. So yeah, as I said, takes a little while to figure that out, but hey, now you know, because I've already shown you all of it. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls, straightforward, air conditioning controls are mounted on your infotainment screen, but this time they don't disappear, they just stay there where they are. So there are these two big dials on either side. First of all, this is a 14-inch infotainment screen, and that's been divided at the bottom to show you the climate control. So when you go into the climate, so there are dials given on both the sides, and in the center there is an on and off button, and in the middle there is the fan speed adjuster, and on either side you get these dials which have the screen in the center that shows you color codes. So on the right side it's red, so it goes hotter, and on the left side it's bluish, so it goes cooler. So while driving it's just easier to know what you're doing. And you get tri-zone air conditioning system on this RX500, so dual zone in the front and another zone in the back. And not just that, there are also buttons given on top for your ventilated seat options. So these seats are cooled, so which is again another plus point when you're in the UAE, because boy, it gets super hot, especially today when it's like 42 and it's 5 p.m. So yeah, these seats, and they actually do a very good job in cooling your bottom. So yeah, very good in terms of that. And that's your air conditioning controls, and as I said, you can customize it from the steering wheel also when you change those settings inside. And when it comes to this infotainment screen, this is the newest addition, which is a 14-inch gigantic infotainment display that has been given, and Lexus has gone away from that fiddly mouse control and buttons which were given in here. So say bye bye to that, and just this screen that operates quite easily. And the interface is actually mixed with the Toyota's interface, so you will find a lot of things familiar and things that you already know. And the first option that you find on this screen is your navigation. You get huge navigation out here, so you can easily use that and even search things and then go into there. So that's quite easy to use. Then the next option is your media option, where you will find your sources. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to the infotainment system using the Bluetooth. There's USB, and there's also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay that has been given, but the Apple CarPlay is wireless, while the Android Auto is the wired version that you get on this RX500. The next option is your phone, where you can see your calls and everything, SMS. Then there is the vehicle option, where you see your trip info. Then the settings option, which has all your detailed settings options like Bluetooth device, general, which has all your accessibility, display options, and vehicle customize option, which shows you all your heads up display, meter, lights, illumination, and everything. And not just that, there are also mood lights which are given on this car in the door cards out here in the dashboard. And there is a button which is for shortcut button for your frequently used menus. So my mode was like the drive modes and the heads up display and everything. And then there is the comfort and convenience for your silencing, all your media controls, the cooling options. And then when you swipe right, you have the heads up display option, your drive modes. So you have 4 different driving modes on this RX500, which is normal, eco, sport, and custom mode. Then you swipe, then you have the vehicle accessories, driving assist, and the driving assist continues with more options in here: rear camera detection, rear cross traffic alert, park support, brake, everything in here. So all that can be customized from here. So that's essentially your infotainment screen that you have to use on this RX500. It's rather big, and also it's much more simplified to use on a day-to-day basis, which is what I really like about this. It's a little big to my liking sometimes, and it's also way too pick that isn't right in your face, but nonetheless you can switch it to a blacker theme, and then it sort of reduces that effect that is in your eyes all the time. Then there are these big vents on either side which are given for the driver and the passenger, and there are more sort of these cutouts which are given where you can, I think, put some of your stuff like a wallet or something, utilize as a storage option. There are more air conditioning vents which are given underneath the infotainment screen, and then there are these two more buttons. One is the view. So you get 360-degree camera on this RX500H, and it's absolutely amazing 360-degree camera system that I've seen, unlike on any other car actually. So you can get into this mode where you can see what's around your car, or this fisheye view where it shows you from top in 360 what's around the car. Again, really cool thing that you can see. And there's also a park assist, so when you press that, so you can select if you want to like park the car, or if you want to get out the car from a parking, it will do that for you, and it actually works pretty well. I've tried, and yeah, it's given me satisfactory results in terms of how sensitive it is. So yeah, you should definitely try that out. Now when you come to the charging, this is again another surprise because you have a lot of charging plugs on this one. So you get two USB Type-C ports, charging ones which are given underneath the air conditioning vents in the center. Then you open this door and you are led to two more USB ports, one Type-C and one normal USB port, which is used for connecting to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. There's also a wireless charger that has been given, and there are two more USB Type-C ports which are given for the rear passenger. Again, that's a really plus point. So you get 6 charging ports. There is also one 12-volt power socket that has been given also on this RX500. Now in terms of the storage, again, that's also a surprise because there is decent amount of storage. So in the door cards you can easily put like 1.5 liter worth of bottles, some more storage on the sides, and there's this slot underneath the air conditioning vents where you can put your phones and wallets. There is this door that you open. Inside that there is huge storage again to put your phones and wallets. There are these two flexible cup holders that are given, and then the center armrest that can be opened from both the sides, from the passenger or from the driver side. Again, another convenient feature. And inside that you can easily fit like 8 half-a liter worth of bottles, so that is pretty big. There's also this glove box, again lined with some really luxurious lining inside, and then same goes for the passenger side. You can put 1.5 liter worth of water. There's one more small storage where you can put your cards or your wallets. There is also this sunglass holder. Again, that's also disappearing in most of the cars, but at least it's given on this one. And in the rear door cards you can easily put like 1.5 liter worth of bottle in both the door cards, and in the center there's another storage in the armrest, and also two normal cup holders but which are foldable ones, which are given for the rear passengers. Now on this RX500 you get an SOS feature which is for the emergency purposes, and there is also a panoramic sunroof. I'm actually just going to open the door and not the actual roof because it is pretty hot in here. So yeah, this panoramic sunroof is quite big, but the only thing is that the roof actually that opens it's not that big. I wish it would open a little bit till the back, but yeah, nonetheless there is a panoramic roof, so you can just open and have like a more airy view inside the cabin. Now let me just shut that because as I said, it's hot. I want more light to get in and make this whole thing hot from inside. Now in terms of the entertainment, you get 21 speaker Mark Levinson sound system, which is an absolutely incredible system. When you hear it, it's got so much crystal clear sound that you can hear. So yeah, that's gonna keep you entertained inside this car. And when you come to this gear lever, again, that's a new change. So you get this small sort of gear lever, like a tiny one, and it's just that it's a little on the lower side. I wish it was slightly higher, but yeah, again, not complaining because it's tiny and it fits very well inside the hand. And the only thing is that you have to slide the gear lever on the side in order to do any action. So right now I'm in the neutral, then I go back into the D, and if I put it in the front, it's in reverse, or I come into the park. Now another thing is that every time I am driving the car, it always leads me into this screen where it shows me a 360-degree view around my car when I'm driving below 15 kilometers per hour. It shows me that inside the traffic, but yeah, every time I have to cancel that and then go into the screen, or I have to disable it every time so that that option doesn't come on every single time, because it gets a little annoying all the time to be seeing the 360-degree view in your screen all the time. Now when it comes to these seats, these are wine red leather seats, and they are the sporty seats, and the headrest also have the F Sport embossing on them and on the driver and the passenger. And these are the perforated seats, so they are also the cool seats, as I mentioned, and they work absolutely well. But on the sides you have this sort of suede kind of material, so again that's a good thing. The less leather, it's gonna get less hot in the summers. But yeah, these seats are decently comfortable, I would say, and they fit me quite well, and there's enough of side support, and even at the bottom there's decent amount of support, and under thigh support, again that's also pretty good. And the driver and the passenger side seat are both 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar control, whereas the headrests, as you may think that they are one piece, but they are not. They are also adjustables, but they are just manual, so that's the only laborious thing that you will do inside this car. And one more thing that has been introduced on this RX500 is that if you notice, there is no lever to open the door, but instead, as I said, these are electronic doors, so everything is happening electronically. You press the button and then it just opens up, sort of an electromagnetic thing inside, and the same goes inside. So you press this button and open the door all the time. So yeah, you have to get used to that fact that you have to press that button, or if you're someone that misses pulling that lever, so that is, you have to pull this lever 2 times in order to open the door, and then you can open the door. Or so it's a dual nature, you can either press it or you can even pull it to open the doors. Now this RX500, as I mentioned, is slightly longer than the previous generation, and as a result of that, there is very good amount of space that you get on this generation of this RX. And in terms of the knee room, yes, there is quite a bit of knee room. Like, the seats are in my driving position. The headroom is just about fine, although someone about 6 feet 2 inches might start brushing their heads against the ceiling that ways. And the seats underneath that, you can slide your legs if you want to during the longer journeys, but there's not much of space, just only small amount of space that you can use. And these seats are again wine red leather seats with the dash of this suede kind of material on the sides. They are also perforated, and to tell you this, that the rear seats are also ventilated seats on either side, not the middle one is just plain, but on either side where there are perforations, yes, those are the cool seats. And again, that's a luxury touch, because most of the times you're going to be spending your time out here in the back sitting. So yeah, you get that also on this one. The seats are, as I said, pretty comfortable, and not just that, the seats are also electronically adjustable, so you can adjust the backrest, you can make it upright, or you can really recline it till the back and have a very relaxing position out here. So that's again another option that you get on this thing, which is again electronically adjustable. When there is no middle passenger, you can utilize this handrest, as I said, which is slightly dirty for some reason. And there are 2 normal cup holders which you get, as I mentioned, which are foldable ones, and in the back there is this storage where you can put your phones and wallets, and then you can tuck this away when there is no passenger. And there is only a small bit of tunnel in here, but it's again lined with this smooth carpet at the bottom. So when you're the middle passenger, when you're sitting in here, the middle seat is quite soft, and you can really get a lot of room in here when you're sat. And the backrest has a bit of a bump that way, so that's the only thing. But again, it's more about 2 people in the back, so they can comfortably sit here. And in terms of the door card qualities out here, yes, it's all soft touch. Again, it's all continued in the back also, this suede kind of material, red stitching, speakers in here, the door handle, the button that has been given to open the doors where you're going to be resting hands, again that's red color leather that has been given, again soft touch material at the bottom. And not just that, these windows, when they open, they go down completely, and they are soft opening, and then when you close them, they softly close when they are about to reach to the top. That's those small delicate touches that you see. And there is also this sun visor, of course, so that you get that extra bit of privacy when you're going around for a meeting or just cruising around. Yeah, you need that extra bit of privacy. You get that also. In terms of the storage, you can put like 1.5 liter water bottle in the door cart, some more storage on the side. There are pocket storage given in both the seats out here. There's also 2 cup holders, as I mentioned, and you get another air conditioning zone for the rear passengers, but you cannot control the fan speed. It's just the temperature that you can adjust from here, and also the buttons given for your ventilated seat options. And next to that there are 2 USB plugs that are given, and you get 2 air conditioning vents that you get. So overall the rear seats are quite comfortable. They are ventilated also, so they are going to be quite relaxing during the longer journeys. There is decent amount of support underneath the thigh. You can stretch your legs also, and you can recline these seats so that it can make your traveling much more easier. So what's not to like on this rear row of this RX500? So this RX500h F Sport performance comes with a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder inline turbocharged engine that produces 366 horsepower and 550 Newton meters of torque, but it just doesn't completely produce it by itself, because there are 2 electric motors that are given on this RX500, and one of it is located on the front and the other one is located in the back, and combined it produces that much of horsepower, which is 366 horsepower. But it's also clubbed with a 6-speed automatic gearbox. Now on paper it may sound like 6 speed is a little less, but trust me, it's ample. The fact is that the electric power is where it comes in handy. So when I press the throttle, there's a smooth acceleration, but a very powerful one, because the electric motors fill in that torque gap, and it's essentially giving you that power which you would otherwise miss on a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine, and also clubbed to a 6-speed gearbox. Yes, then it would be missing. But on this, the electric motors actually plug in that gap very well. Yes, sometimes you do feel that need of that extra bit of gear. I do feel that if an additional gear is there, yes, that would help the car not like go completely till the end. So let me put this into the sport mode and also show you, because when I put this in the sport, the things become slightly sensitive, the throttle response, the RPM, yes, and then is this sound. Now don't be fooled by this sound, because there's a lot of artificial sound that is blasted through these speakers inside. So when you hard press it, you can actually hear the engine after that. Now it's the engine. Yes. Now the thing is that the whole combination works very well, but then yes, this is supposed to be a sporty one. It does end up being a sporty SUV, but then it's more aligned towards being a lot more comfortable in terms of how it reacts and how the power delivery is. So when I press the throttle, I'm not pushed back into the seat or anything, but more gentle way where it increases the power. Like, let me show you. Yes, there's a lot of rumbling and throaty sound from those speakers to make it feel a lot more sportier, but then it's very smooth and gentle. But bear in mind, it still reaches some pretty insane speeds very smoothly. Instead of giving that jerk, you would in no time doing 3 digits and quite a high amount of 3-digit numbers on your speedometer. So make sure to just keep a check on that, because that way, yes, it's got that sense of occasion. And then when I put it into the paddle shifters, yes, because the gearing is like 6 gears, so it really stretches itself a little bit. And then let me put it and show you, so it takes a little longer. You see there is a bit of a gap in there, and which is why I said you need that 7-speed gearbox sometimes to plug in that gap, because when it's automatic everything is taken care of, but then when you're driving yourself, that's when you realize. And The gear shifts also take a little while to respond, even though I'm in the sport mode. Yet, but then all in all, yes, it's all meant to cruise you in luxury, but also at the same time be fast as well. Now, the thing is, when the electric motors, when you are around 15 kilometers per hour, the electric motors are used and the battery pack is also used, and at the same time when you are lifting off or braking, the regeneration happens and that is put into the battery. But you can even go, if you are very gentle with your throttle, up to 50-55 kilometers on pure electric power. It can do that, but there is no pure EV mode that you can switch into, so it's all done by the car itself. It decides when it wants to switch into the EV mode and then when it wants to go into the engine mode. But yeah, when you hard accelerate, that's when the engine is called in. But yeah, when you're cruising, yeah, that's where it plugs in with the electric power. So in terms of the efficiency from this engine overall setup, you will get anywhere between 10 to 11 kilometers per liter, although claimed is somewhere around 15 kilometers per liter. I mean, I don't know, I've tried hard to get that much, but yeah, so far I've managed to get 10 to 11 kilometers per liter. I don't know, yeah, maybe if you can get more, then just let me know how did you do that, so I might as well. But yeah, pretty much I am being quite sportier in terms of my driving, so which is why I am not able to achieve maybe like that. But I've driven a long drive also on a constant speed, but yet I was still able to manage like 10.5 kilometers per liter, and yeah, which is why I said so. It just, yeah. Now in terms of the noise and the vibrations, the build quality is pretty good. So the noise is just that, you know, artificial sound from the speakers that you will hear, and also some of the times when the engine is hard, you know, pressed, that's when you will hear a little bit of that engine also. But otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty quiet ride out in here. There's just a bit of sound whooshing when it's a very windy day. That's the only time you will hear. But yes, again, otherwise it's a pretty quiet cabin in here, and the build quality is pretty nice, so there's no loose bits in here, so everything is, yeah, nothing is rattling in here. Now when you come to the suspensions, they are again on the most comfortable side. This is what the Lexus Touch is. So let me do a slalom and show. There's just small amount of roll, but again, because of the softness, but then yeah, the dynamics kick in, the traction control, and they make sure, like, yeah, it's still stable and planted. But yeah, it's all gentle. There is no jerking inside this car. Everything is smooth. So yeah, the suspensions are pretty comfortable, clubbed with the seats, even though they are sporty seats. Yes, it's pretty decent setup. Now when you come to the steering wheel, things get pretty interesting in here. So on the standard RX350, you just get a normal steering, but on this RX500H, you get a 4-wheel steering. So the rear wheels actually turn around 4 degrees maximum to assist you to take the cornering, and to be honest, yeah, they actually help you quite well. Now this is a pretty dusty surface, sandy surface that I am on, and on here, an SUV that is gripping this well, yeah, that's only, yeah, because of those clever dynamics. And the thing is, at lower speeds, the wheels would turn in the opposite direction so as to assist you in getting this sort of sharp turn and well behaved one. Whereas when you are on a highway cruising above a certain speed, then the wheels would go parallel, so that it again assists you in taking that lane changing maneuver easily. But yeah, the steering, that way the steering wheel itself is quite light. Yeah, it lacks that bit of that sportiness, even though if you switch it into the sport mode, still doesn't change the nature. So yeah, that way, but the feedback is good enough. I can understand, yes, what's going on, and with the aid of that 4-wheel steering, yes, things are, yeah, well behaved in here, and it just becomes pretty sharp for an SUV this big, because it's a 2.2 ton SUV that is this one. So yeah, for that the steering has to be pretty good enough. So yeah, that way it's doing quite well. Now when you come to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this RX500h F Sport performance. So let me do 100 to 0 emergency brake stop and show you the braking performance. Yeah, the ABS kicks in, and then there's a slight amount of sponginess, which is what I find. And not just that, but the braking action is sufficient, especially considering again it's a 2.2 ton car, so that way it's quite good. And in the sense that there is a lot of mass in here, but it's still the CG that is given, it's quite in the middle. It's not like a tipsy rolling kind of thing situation in here where you would feel that, but yeah, that way it's far under control that way in that sense. So yeah, good job in terms of designing that ways. Now when it comes to the safety systems, you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags which are given in both the frames and also in the back, and there's also child ISOFIX points in both the rear seats. There is also a fabulous 360-degree camera system, and I am really impressed by the quality of this camera. And yeah, in fact it's one of the top 2s for sure. It's got to be. It's so crisp, it's so clear, it's so smooth, and the variety of angles that you see on the screen, yeah, really blown away by that. And then you have the ABS, then you have the EBD and all of those clever stuff. Then the rear pedestrian warning, then there is also the front warning as I mentioned. Then what else is given? There's also lane departure warning. There is also the parking assist that has been given. There is also blind spot monitor. Then there is also the rear and the front traffic alert and everything. So yeah, every single safety system has been given. Now when you come to the pricing, so the RX350 comes in from 280,000 dirhams. It starts from there and goes upwards as you go with the different sort of setup, like the all-wheel drive and two-wheel drive and different options. So the two-wheel drive, this is the base version, comes in at 280,000 dirhams, whereas this RX500H comes in at 360,000 dirhams, which is the starting point without some of the optional extras. But yeah, now it seriously starts venturing into a lot of those performance luxury SUVs, and then you obviously start taking a comparison also with them. So the thing is that on paper this RX500 is such a perfect spec, because let's say you have the power, you have the comfort, you have the luxury, you have everything in here, but does it have what it takes to compete with some of the German competitors in its segment? I would say it's a little far off that way in that sense. But to be honest, you should be judging this car in a different way and not with the competitors in its segment, because this car in that sense is every bit Lexus. It's comfortable, it's luxurious, it's practical, it's big, it's got new additions, and all of those annoying bits which were there in the previous generation, that's all it's gotten rid of. And end of the day, it's going to be reliable also. So in that sense, it's a very good option that you get in this category. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe. Gosh, it's 6:30 p.m. and it's 35 degrees. Let me put aircon full and ventilated seats.